Okay, welcome to Lobo Podcast. Today we have Manny Acosta. We talk about being on the ships. He doesn't have sex with prostitutes. He's Dominican, Puerto Rican, so he's never stabbed anybody. Okay, Lobo Den.
Lobo Den, Lobo Den, Lobo Den. Lobo Den, Lobo Den, Lobo Den. Lobo Den, Lobo Den, Lobo Den. Lobo Den, Lobo Den, Lobo Den. It's the Lobo
Okay, welcome to the Lobo Den Podcast. I'm your host, Giovanni Diaz. Across from me is Manny Acosta, our guest, right? I guess I'm filming at the Lincoln Lodge studio in Chicago, Illinois. And Christine is recording. Sorry, what's up, Manny? How you been?
Good. I've been good.
Good. You grew up in Chicago, right?
Mhm.
A lot of violence. You've been stabbed or shot at. You were in Humboldt Park?
Shot at, before.
Did you ever do? You're half Puerto Rican, half Dominican, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's a reputation with Puerto Rican knives. Is that the thing?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a knives that come from. What's around you? Humboldt Park. It was Latin Kings or what's in your
Everything.
area?
Because it was at the time when I grew up, it was all different. It was the Cobras,
The
Kings,
Cobras,
and
yeah.
I want to say it was the Disciples too, fighting for just going to our school trying to recruit kids.
Okay. Where'd you go to
That's
school?
crazy
Where'd you
shit.
go to high school?
Well, I went to grammar school here at Richard Yates,
Okay.
and then I went
We're in Logan, Wicker. I don't know where we're at. Where are we? I'm from the suburbs. I don't know. The
to
city.
Humboldt Park.
We're in Humboldt Park right
Yeah.
now? No, we're
This
not.
is this is the edge of it, but where I grew up is like right in the heart of Humboldt Park.
Okay.
So that's the school I went to. It was on Richmond and Francisco. But my high school, I went to Milta Ramirez Computer Science Charter School.
What the fuck is that?
Exactly. It doesn't exist anymore. It was, Aspira?
Vacuum. Yeah. I have one of those. Actually, I don't. We have wood floors. I hate wood floors. I like carpet.
The Puerto Rican organization has like a whole bunch of charter schools all over around the city.
No.
No?
I'm from the suburbs.
So
I don't
you
know.
just don't read anything about Chicago?
No. I don't
What-
like the city.
What suburbs are you from?
When I drive to do this podcast, I get upset as I'm driving into the city. I don't like people. I don't like traffic. Like you don't like people, right? You're antisocial. But I don't know how you don't. You prefer the city over the suburbs? There's more people.
But I know where to go where the people have the same mindset of me of leave me alone.
Okay.
So I don't. As long as I don't fuck with anybody, I just keep doing my own shit.
Like I was walking from my car to here, I got upset, and some guy said they say hi to me, and that was cool. They had an accent. It made me think of the bear. I haven't seen the bear, but that's what's hot right now. The bear. That's
That
a
show
show
with the
with
cooking show?
the line cook from Chicago, right?
Yeah.
Now, all these chicks want to fuck line cooks allegedly, but I haven't seen. But these guys, did you see the guy? The locksmith guys were hanging out in front of the locksmith store. You know what I mean? And one of them sounded a little bit Chicago to me. As long as they're Chicago and not implants.
Yeah.
I don't get bothered too much.
Okay. Yeah, because the Chicagoans, for the most part, were just like, leave me alone. I'll leave you alone. Don't talk to me. Don't fuck
They were
with me.
having their cigarette, and
Yeah.
it made me think of the bear, but for locksmith. Maybe we could do a locksmith bear. And Brandon Kiefer's a locksmith, so it made me think
That
of
is
him.
true.
But he is from the South, so he's an implant. So I don't take him seriously.
And what suburb are you from? Where are you from?
I grew up in basically Waukegan
Okay.
for the most part, it's a suburb, but it's a little nasty. It's a little bit of a shittier suburb. It's not like the nice suburbs where
Yeah.
the white kids or the Indians come from Naperville.
One of my boys was from his dad or his mom had a house in Waukegan, so we used to go there all the time. So I know the area.
It's shitty. It's gotten worse. Maybe because people from Chicago have been coming, shooting the place up. What I've heard is like they come over here and they shoot it. I don't know. There's been a lot more shootings.
There's been a lot more boldness with that shit. Yeah, they've been trying to. On the expressway, they shoot in the expressway, just randomly start shooting people.
Do you like shooting people? Not shooting people. Do you like to shoot? Have you been shooting before? Do you like guns?
I like guns. I'm like a week or two away from going to get my conceal because shit's been so fucking
Just do
crazy.
it. Just do it.
Yeah.
I have a conceal, but mine expired. I didn't even know about it until the lady at work told me. But anyways, do you not? So you don't like people, or you like certain type of people?
It's a mix because I tend to talk a lot of shit. So if a person can't take that, then I'm just like, let me not fuck with you often. But I got like a little group of dudes that I hung out with from high school.
How'd you start doing comedy? Well, you were
Talent shows.
fat. Let me stop before. You were a fat kid, right? Because I was fat when I was younger. Well, actually, I gained weight again. I'm fat again, so I'm back to
But you're a father now,
where
so
I
that's
was.
different.
Oh yeah, it doesn't really matter. So
Yeah.
I
You have a dad bod.
still get attention from ladies, and I don't know. Is this the new? They like those dad.
Apparently,
bod?
that's the new
Apparently,
thing.
right?
Yeah.
Because I'm trying to lose weight, but I'm not motivated because I still like get attention.
you
So
still
it's
be
it's
pulling.
hard. Like what's my motivation? I'm not doing any sports. You know what I mean? And then it's like I see a disadvantage if I lose weight because it's where am I going to put the baby, Sometimes I put like my drinks on top of my stomach when I'm laying.
As long as you're not running out of breath going up like a flight of stairs, that's where you should.
I shouldn't. I mean, a little bit, but I've been like I was working this morning. I was caddying so that's physical activity. I was carrying 2 bags for like it's like 7 miles or something like that. So that's why I said I might be sweaty. I was caddying. I was caddying for some Jewish guys. But anyways, I don't know. What were you saying? Something about you were fat. So me and you were both fat, right?
Yep.
So I don't know if that's affected your. Were you funny before you were fat? You had to be funny because you were fatty, right?
Oh, for sure, yeah. I was skinny as a kid, but then my dad opened up a restaurant, and I was just like, pizza. It was a pizzeria, so I ate pizza almost every single day, dude. I gained so much weight.
This is the same thing. I was skinny. If you look at my pictures when I was younger, skinny. And then my mom would just overfeed me, and then I had to finish, and then she had to give me seconds, and then she started working at McDonald's. So sometimes she would bring me. I would have like 2 Big Macs. This is I don't know, like in grammar school, and then.
Well, our parents didn't know portion control.
No, she would bring me trays of biscuits from McDonald's. So you know the hot cake tray or whatever.
Yeah.
So that was just full of biscuits, and I would just eat them all, and I didn't know anything. Did you have a breakthrough? Because I had a breakthrough about when I learned about all that diet stuff and calories and carbs.
No, dude. I know nothing about all that stuff. I try to work out and then balance out what I eat, but I don't eat too healthy. Mm-hmm. But when I was a kid, dude, I have a sweet tooth like a motherfucker. So I just, ice cream, donuts, cookies, all that shit. So there was one time, I think one summer where I was like, this close to being diabetic. So then the doctor was just like, how old were you? I was like 13 maybe. Some shit like that, maybe 12, 13. I was just like, what the fuck? And the doctor was like, yeah, motherfucker, you better stop eating so fucking much sugar. And then I fucking just went cold turkey for a hot minute, came back, I was cool, and I was just like, let me kind of lose a little weight. But I was big for a while, and then I ended up having like a appendix surgery. And then I had like a real bad run of like food poisoning and like stomach flu and shit. So I lost a shit ton of weight for a little while.
How'd they take out your appendix? The 4 little dots? I lost my appendix.
My shit was cut a little bit before. Yeah, I got like a scar like this. Before.
Oh, yeah. So everybody in my family has. Do you have an appendix, Christine? Yeah, she do. Oh, okay.
It's never given you problems?
Maybe it's a woman thing. I don't know any woman who's lost her appendix, now that I think about it. But all the guys in my family have lost their appendix. My dad, my cousin, and then it was me. Like I don't know what.
I don't know if anybody I know. I don't know if I have anybody like any females I know. I know a couple people.
No, I can't think of one female that's ever.
I want to say I do actually, because I mean it's such a stupid little thing. Like it's.
The appendix is there from what I remember. It's because back in the day when we were, I don't know, caveman or something. Whatever. You know what I mean? We would eat whatever, and that was there to filter out stuff that we shouldn't be eating.
But that shit barely filtered shit out, and it started to try to explode and shit.
Yeah, so
it's so stupid.
Because of my appendix, I can have shrimp fried rice. Like it's the last thing I remember eating, and then I was just in pain for all night. I was in pain. Like I used to go out a lot, and then you don't go out.
Quesadilla. Right? That's what I had that day when I.
But you can still eat quesadillas, right?
Yeah,
I can't eat shrimp fried. I can't look. I remember seeing those pink little shrimp in that white box container.
For me, it's just the pain. I remember. I don't care about like what I was eating. It's more just the pain.
Yeah,
that shit hurt so bad.
Yeah, it was pretty painful. And then they brought me in. Well, I didn't go out that night. I wanted to go out, and my friends were like, no. And so they're like, maybe something's really wrong with him because I would go out. Like,
so when did you lose it though? How old?
I think in my early 20s.
Oh, no, I was young as hell.
Yeah, how old were you?
I was like in 7th grade, 6th, 7th grade.
Oh, really? You lose that long?
So I lost a little bit of weight, and then.
When did you lose your virginity?
18.
18, me too. 18.
Yeah.
Well, because you were fat, nobody wanted to sleep with you before that. Or?
Well, I also didn't know if I wasn't gonna be good at it, I wasn't gonna be like, let me not start rumors. Like I don't want to be bad at it. Did
that happen to somebody? Because that thought has never even crossed my mind when I was younger. No, because it's like I don't know.
I grew up around a lot of women, so I know that they all talk. So I was just like, if I start a bad thing with one woman and she has friends, the word will like wildfire pass through schools that I'm bad at sleeping.
Well, I do that. Like if I sleep with a new woman, I try to make sure I have to give. What sucks, it's like with my girlfriend. Like that's I do want to sleep with somebody. I was thinking about this. I was like, I think a good test if you're good is to sleep with somebody who doesn't like you or hates you. You know what I mean? Because it's like you have, like she already has something against you. Not even hate sex, like versus you have when somebody's in love with you and then whatever loves you, it's like you have an advantage. It's like even if you don't do well, whatever. He's my boyfriend. He fucking supports me.
But to get someone who wants to keep coming back that hates you, it's very
or maybe let's say you don't have to go hate somebody you don't know. So whenever a new one I don't know, it's like that first time I always have to try to give like my best performance.
That's what I'm saying, right? Because you want to make sure
they come back, they tell their friends. It's like very important versus somebody like I'm with. It's like, all right, we could have good sessions, but I need to get to work. I just
how stupid are we as men that we think that just laying it down on the first time well is like word of mouth enough to get us more.
It's better than not laying it down and losing.
No, and
it
I
completely.
get it, but that's like, you see how stupid our thought is. It's like maybe if I do it well, she's gonna go and tell her friends.
Because
like it's
she's
so
gonna,
stupid. I get it, but it's
she's
just
gonna tell her friends.
They're gonna talk about it, but you have to be very. There's supposed to be a girl code on shit like that.
There's no girl code.
100% there is.
Well, yeah,
The same
to
one as
tell
what we
your
do.
friends what happened, if it was good or bad,
And also not to fucking go do the dude that your girl just did. Pretty sure it's the same shit like for dudes.
oh, like friends within, within a circle. But,
Yeah.
But they talk, and then because you've slept with girls that were friends with each other, right? Did you sleep with a girl who was friends with your ex? Wasn't that your first time?
No. Yes.
Yeah, it was a friend of your ex, wasn't it? Your
That
first
was.
time was a friend of your ex, right? It was the same. Well, you did it, not me. I'm gonna get more coffee.
I remember that. Yeah, no, 100%. It was a friend of mine. It was terrible.
How, she slid in your DMs, or how? So she knew.
DMs. This was back.
You guys broke up already.
This was before MySpace, dude.
Oh, I had
It
MySpace.
was Mi Gente, I think, was when we were messing.
Mi Gente, remember Zenga?
Yeah, that was Mi Gente days. Yeah, it was. I mean, I was just a little horny ass kid. So when.
How old? Oh, you were 18.
Yeah, and the person I lost it with was kind of
Promiscuous?
yes. So
Okay.
I felt at the end of the day I was just like, nah, I kind of should have waited for someone special, I guess. But it was a bad experience for me anyway. I came so quick. I wasn't even prepared for how good that was gonna feel the first time, and then
Because you don't know. Like, okay,
No,
so
it's great.
but you had an advantage because you talked to women. That, knowing that women not when to mess up the first time. Like I said, that wasn't even a thought in my mind. So I didn't know. There was my mom, and that she wasn't going to speak anything. I don't think I have any type of talk with any of my parents about birds and bees.
No, we don't.
No, right? Did you have one?
That's not. We don't do that. No. That's one of the things one of my jokes is I'll start telling people like we have to learn ourselves. That's where we have to sneak the little channel between the cable to get the breasts and on the porn and shit when Skinemax.
I had a black box, so
Yeah.
I was able to see those stuff, but I didn't know about masturbation yet. So I would just sit there with like horny as hell with an erection and just watch it because I didn't know. I didn't learn. It wasn't until like the summer after 8th grade where it was my first time where I.
This is very stupid, but the only reason I remember the first time I masturbated, it was Decision 2000.
Wait, who was that? Is that that's Florida? Was that the Chad, the hanging Chad? That was Bush and
Gore,
the guy who invented the internet, Al Gore.
Yeah.
And then
That was I was so stressed out. I was just like, let's figure this out. But I kept like
how old were you? Mine was summer of 8th grade.
13.
Oh, okay, so we were the same age, I think. That's 8th grade. Yeah, was that your home in your room?
No, I was on an air mattress because my brother's godfather was
Family was
sleeping in my room. I was just like, that's what I hate about fucking visitors.
Latinos?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What, like, they're your brother and sister. You should leave your room. You know, like my parents, I'm just like, give up your room. These are y'all motherfuckers' relatives. But uncle's coming, godfather's coming. We got to give up our rooms and sleep on an air mattress.
we don't even sleep in my room right now. We haven't slept in our room because we think it's either there's fungus or there's our house. Somebody died at our house, but it wasn't. They weren't murder or anything. But that room, it's something. Whenever you sleep in that room,
because of the fungus.
maybe because whenever I sleep in that room, the next day, like I get a little something. If I sleep 2 to 3 bags, I get sick.
Do you have one of those whatever you're supposed to get, dehumidifier or a humidifier? Or
We have a dehumidifier in the basement, but in that room, and it's connected to one of those outdoor half. I don't know what the point of this fucking room is. It's not heated, and it doesn't have heat in the summer, or coolness in the summer. It doesn't have heat in the winter. It's called a 4 seasons room. I don't know. It's a room that's not fully. It's connected to our bedroom, but it doesn't. It's
yeah. You might have to.
It's cold when it's cold. And it's supposed to be in like an outdoor room in the summer. You're supposed
insulate
to
it maybe. I don't know if you can like bust down the walls or put some insulation and put them back up.
Is there something? I don't get the purpose of this room. Versus I get a porch or what it's covered, but this is like its whole room, so it just gets really hot in the summer and it's just really cold in the winter. I don't understand the purpose of this room. The all season. It's like all seasons. I can't go in it and fucking use it.
I can't fuck with having the house hot. I run warm all the time. I prefer the fall and winter more than I do the summer. I hate the summer here.
So anyways, all right, so you were fat. You're a fat kid. You got disease and lost a bunch of weight.
Yeah.
And then when did you start doing comedy? How'd you start doing comedy?
2012. I was doing it with
12 years after you masturbated for the first time. Got it.
Yo, for real? That's crazy. I never put it together.
So you're 25. Sounds like, if I did the math right.
2012?
I'm not good at math.
We're 24 maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're 24 years old. Now you're in better shape.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Just
Okay.
I mean, I just started working out for a while, but no, I started comedy with Vince Acevedo. So he
was already doing comedy?
Yeah, I was working at Best Buy, and then he came in to buy TV, and one of my boys was just like, yeah, he's a comedian, because I had done like a talent show in college. And I would just always say, yeah, I'm gonna do it, and then Vince was just like, yeah, come on, I got some shows, because he already had like a little following.
Yeah.
So every time he would have a show, it would just be like
his people.
Yeah, 30, 40
people. Because he does private shows and stuff.
And in a small place, that it seems like it's, so if it's funny, it's really, really loud. So I got to do a lot of his shows early on. And then one time he hit me up, he's just like, if you don't come this time, I'm going to stop inviting your ass. Come to a spot. And then that's when
Where was it? Do you remember the spot?
It was either Tumbao. I think it was Tumbao.
That's funny. So my first show I ever did was Tumbao. So
was it really?
that was my first show because I've done mics. I never did any shows, and then some girl, I forgot her name. I think her name was like Nicole Ortiz. She was a bartender at Tumbao.
Okay.
And then
yeah.
So I saw her post something about comedy. So like this is when I first started. I was really hungry for rooms for anything because I don't know. You're figuring anything out. I'm going to fucking open mics, music open mic, anything.
Yes.
Right. And then so I see her. She's doing comedy. So I message her, and then she's like, "Oh yeah, this guy Vince Acevedo." Message him. I message Vince. I was like, "Hey, I'm a comedian." Blah blah blah. He's like, "Yeah, come do a spot." So that's the first. He's like,
"Yeah, that was
see me, whatever." Yeah, he's like, "Come give me that." So he gave me a 5 minute. Man, maybe you were on that show. Now I'm thinking about it. Maybe
I know we met. We've performed together a lot, like throughout the years, like a bunch of different spots.
Yeah,
I know,
you might have been on that because it was Calvin was hosting. Calvin Evans.
Yeah.
Mona was there, right? And then this will blew my mind. So Mona was next to me, and then she was putting her set list. I do this now, but she was putting her set list before going up. And to me, it's like it blew my mind. Like my set list is at that time 2 days before. I'm going over it over and over nonstop. And she was like, "Did she just put a set list together right before her set?" I was like, mind fucking blown. It was crazy to me, right?
Yeah, I always lead up a little bit to it and just be like, all right, let me just make sure.
Yeah.
How much what I gotta do. That's why I like performing as much as I do now.
Yeah, and then so she was doing it. Miss Vicky, she's rest in peace. She died not that night. She died of cancer later, like a few years later. And then there was that Indian guy who ended up going to Fuse TV. He had a little thing on Fuse. I forgot his name. And then Vince, and I talked to Vince about this in the podcast. Vince, that night he was like, he was thinking about quitting comedy. If you remember, he started like telling I was like, yeah, I'm going to take the firefighter. He told the audience, I'm going to, I'm going to take the firefighter's test. That's when he was kind of like going through it a little bit. He was about to quit comedy, and I asked him I forgot what happened, but he told me like what happened after, and then something happened. He was like, all right, no. And then, but no, that was my first show. And that set, I didn't record video, but I recorded audio. And that was my little clip I would use for people. But the audio clip with a picture I had, I would send it. That was my first clip I had for a little bit. It was Tumbao. That was my first show.
No, if they loved you, you couldn't do anything wrong. You would have them fucking laughing the whole time. And it was just such a small space that the laughter exploded. So you're just like, oh, this feels great. But if you sucked, it was quiet in that room, bro. I performed with them so much that I had to write a lot of new shit. So
because it's the same crew, right? The same people.
Yeah. So I would perform with Vince a lot, and then he would, if he couldn't do a show with the family, he'll hit me up to do like a birthday party or some random shit. That's how I met Lucky Luciano, and then just working a lot of those, and then Vince took me on tour. We used to do Funny Business. Yeah,
I kept hearing the name. Right? Don't they have stuff
in the Midwest? So it's like
Midwest,
Wisconsin, Minnesota, Michigan, and all this other shit. So we did a couple casinos. Came down to do like a.
Vince likes to gamble.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does. I can't. I tried, and then I was mad because we went to Vegas during the pandemic, and then he was just like, "Yeah, let me hit the slots. And I was like gambling just because he was there, but I kept losing money. And then my dumb ass forgot they got the biggest dispensary in the country in Vegas. So I was like, if I'm gonna lose money, I might as well fucking go there and do it.
Oh, you like smoking weed, right? Yeah. You are a weed guy. I forgot. Yeah.
I was, because since I started working on the ships, they'll drug test you, so I haven't in a minute. So if I have
does it depend where their port is?
No,
or just all the ships.
Just the company, yeah.
They just drug test you.
Yeah, I heard a couple of the guys I worked with just got randomly drug tested, which they haven't done in a while because after COVID, a lot of comedians didn't go back to the ship, which is how I got in because they just needed a motherfucker. So I applied for that shit and got it.
Drug test comedians.
You know what I'm saying? And
I mean, that's a rule, but it's.
I get it, but I mean, it has to be someone who doesn't know how it affects them, and then they go on stage and start fucking up. You know, there's been comedians who've been drunk. There's been comedians who've been like just, I mean, people just randomly fall. Guests give you drinks. Some people, because we get 15 drinks a day on our card.
Okay.
But if you take all 15, then they're gonna start looking at you like, why is this motherfucker drinking so much every day? But they just make sure that you're not like, you know, making a fool out of yourself and hitting on people you shouldn't be hitting on and all this other shit. So other than that, man, I haven't had really. I mean, weed, I guess maybe, but I mean, if you can walk around drunk and fall off that bitch, weed won't ever make you like get even close to the edge to fall off. So it's just kind of a big.
You can't smoke weed, but you get 15 drink tickets.
Yeah, exactly.
The thing that's literally gonna get you fired.
Yeah.
It's like, because I had a friend who was on a boat. He got fired and he complained after. He was Honduran. But anyways, he complained afterwards. I think he's in jail now, in Florida again.
Jeez.
I have a video of him. I'm gonna maybe put on the Patreon where he kind of goes at a cop, and then he got arrested the first time, but he just got arrested again. Maybe went after some cops or so. But he's down in Miami-Dade jail.
Oh shit.
Well, yeah. It's real down there. So then, but he got drunk and he fell asleep and he was like napping on and they found him and it's like, oh man, what the fuck they fired me for? And it's like,
oh yeah, I got.
He had a good thing with the boat. So how many comics are on the boat? How does this work?
If it's a short cruise, it's only me and one other one, and then if it's a longer cruise, 4. And there's a ship that does a lot of shows in a row that you get like 8 comedians, but that's like the most.
But what do you guys do? 2 shows a night or?
Depending on the ship, because on the last one I did, it was 5 days, and I have 5 shows, so I just did 1 show every day.
1 show every night.
Yeah.
Like 7 or something like that.
5? No, what? It's like 5.
I mean PM. Like what time they?
Oh, they would do if it was like a kid show, like a PG show, it would be like maybe 7ish, 6 or 7, maybe 8:30, and then if it's the adult show, like 10 to 11 or 11:15 is usually when they'll start.
How'd you get on the boats?
Vince.
Through Vince?
Yeah.
Right. Are you guys on the same boats at all or no?
No, man. He's on Norwegian, so it's kind of we don't, you know, I'm strictly on Carnival, so I'm trying to get on it, and there's some times where our ports will start like I'll miss him like a day in Cozumel and stuff. He's in Hawaii right now. He's been in Hawaii forever.
Where you been?
Colombia, Panama, the whole Caribbean, Jamaica, Mexico, Ensenada.
And you're single, right?
Cozumel, yeah.
So have you now racking it up at all, or
no?
When
you
you're off
you
the
get
boat?
fired. Oh, when
what about off the boat? Do you have freedom or?
I'm barely. Oh no, on there. I mean,
when you guys port, how much time do you guys get?
Maybe like 6 or 7 hours to just be out there. It's like from 8 to like 4 or something like that. You just go out there. There's not a lot of stuff to do unless you go into the cities, and a lot of the cities that we go to, we shouldn't like be on because Dominican Republic isn't too good right now. In Cozumel, you don't want to like go out too far and not know where you're at and ask the wrong motherfuckers. In Jamaica, same shit. Like there's a whole bunch of places you should just go off by yourself.
When you leave the resorts, like in Mexico,
it gets real.
I think they have. I forgot. I don't know. I think they have like armed guards and things outside the resorts.
Yeah,
you know what I mean,
lining
you got
up
the
just
resort,
to make sure. Yeah,
and then you got like military style fucking tanks.
Yeah, and then if you leave, that's on you. But yeah, motherfuckers be running back late for the ships. They'll leave a motherfucker out there too.
His comics got left.
Yes. And then even guess like if they tell you be back by 4:30, but if your shit's on the wrong 4:30 and you're back by an hour, when you come back that ship is gone.
And they get trapped out there. They gotta.
Yeah, I mean I guess they'll leave. Maybe I don't know. I mean I would assume they would leave your stuff at the port, but
you still sleep with that Brazilian chick?
No,
it's completely cut off.
Yeah.
She hasn't found. She hasn't found you through Instagram or anything like that.
Nope. That's been completely nullified. I don't have a lot of time for it. It's too much. It's like I don't have a lot of time back. So when I am back here, I'm working with my brother and I'm shit on my parents. So then I leave. I'm only here for like a couple weeks at a time. There's no woman who would deal with that ever.
You got to get him before you go on the boats. Who was in the Mark Simmons? You know Mark? I know he's on the boats.
He's on the boats.
Yeah,
he is. Vince, Michael Isaac.
Michael.
Yeah, Calvin said he did a couple of. I don't know if he's back on there, but he said he put a video of him at one of the things. But there's a bunch of people on them.
Mike Calvin just released something on OnlyFans.
Calvin Evans.
So I would think the only shot you have off the boats is prostitutes, but no, you've never had sex with a prostitute.
No,
right?
that freaks me out.
The disease or maybe getting arrested? What bothers you?
Well, all three: getting a disease, possibly getting arrested, but just the Humble Park. So I used to take my niece to daycare, and then there's like a certain spot where you can park.
Where?
Put it right here on Division and Pulaski.
Prostitutes?
Yes, Division and Pulaski.
Are they still there?
I mean,
I just want to check them out.
Go ahead, check them out. Those aren't the ones. Those are the ones that you're just like, let me not, ever. So it's hard. So I've always grown up with like with that around. So that's what my head is, a prostitute. But I know there's some escorts that are super crazy. But at that point, that's just too much.
I got robbed by a prostitute once in Zion, Illinois.
Robbed?
Yeah. It was a house. Because my friend, I went.
But you got set up to get robbed?
Oh yeah.
Oh shit.
Like I was there, and then I was drunk and high, and then my friend was on the phone with me, and he's like, I was waiting in the parking lot. She was like, wait, and he's like, hey Giovanni, this is taking a little bit too long. So he's like, A, you're getting set up, cops, or you're gonna get robbed. It's one of the two. And then I was drunk, high, and horny, and it's like it was a bad combination.
Oh, for sure.
It was a bad combination. So and I should have, and I was like, you start lying to yourself. I was like, no, I'm not. This is good. Because it's like I want to go. So I go up there. I go to the front door, and she's like, here, let me, do you have the donation? They call it a donation for, I guess, legal reason.
Yeah,
like,
for sure. They can't just be like, hey, this is cover charge for you to come.
You know what I mean? I'm not, you can't, because if you say I'm paying for sex, you're incriminating yourself.
Yeah.
Like that whole thing when they ask you if you're a cop and they're supposed to tell you, it's not true.
No.
No,
what is it?
not.
What do they call it? Entrapment?
Yeah,
or some bullshit?
If they say I'm not, it's not. It doesn't hold up.
Yeah.
So I looked it up. I remember I gave her the money. She closed the door. And then I was like, fuck. Because for like the 1-2 seconds, once she closed the door, I was like, 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. All right. And then 3 Mississippi, I was like, nah. Like, man, I got set up, dude. Then I hear like noises by the front lawn and bushes. I'm like, what's that? And I turn around, there's 3 guys there. And I'm like, oh. And I was like, all right, this is she already has the money. And I was like, I didn't say anything to him. I'm like, hey. And I just start, when I see the guys, I just like, all right.
Let me get the fuck
I
out
see
of
the
here.
point,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So I just go, and I go to my car, and I get out. And then I was drunk and high, and now I'm pissed, right? And I'm like, I can't believe I got fucking robbed.
And
So
you're
then,
still horny.
No, I'm angry.
Oh.
Now I want vengeance. I want
So you
blood.
don't-
So this part is, let's say allegedly, right? This is all made up now.
Gotcha.
The next part. So I go,
Hypothetically
and I
speaking.
go. My buddy lived down. I was staying with my buddies. I was there, and I was like, I had my shotgun over there. And I was like, where's my shotgun? He's like, Giovanni, take that L, dude. It was like, what, $80, $100 or whatever it was. And he was like, just let it go. It's not worth it. And I was like, shut the fuck up. So then I remember I go back with my flashlight and a shotgun. I go to the house, and I have the door open, and I have the gun sticking out. Allegedly, this is all made up.
Yeah.
This is for entertainment purposes, InfoWars style. And then I remember that nobody came out the house, and I have the flashlight. I was like, come out. You fucking whore, blah, 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 blah. Nothing came out. And then I'm starting to sober up, and it's like, all right, let me go home and get food and go to sleep. Because there's that point where it's like either I want food or sex or just I want to rest. I got over it once that liquor came down.
Yeah.
And I was like, I deserved it. I took the L. You know what I mean? I was like,
You got balls though. I wouldn't even.
I don't have balls. I was drunk. It was the alcohol and the.
No, I mean,
Sober me would have been like.
First of all, have went to get your shotgun.
I've never even have gone to the prostitute. I don't think I've ever gone to a prostitute when I've been sober. Like,
Okay.
I used to drink a lot.
It's always the worst. Okay.
Yeah, so I used to drink and I'd be like, and open up that other side of me where it's like,
where would you where would you get them?
Backpage. I was listening to fucking a Joe Rogan podcast and they were talking about Backpage.
Get the fuck out of here.
Dude, once when I got into that world for a few years, I was like, oh my God, they're everywhere. It made you, did you ever see that movie with Roddy Piper? It gives, there's like these aliens come over and they take over those people and he puts on the glasses, he could see the aliens and he would put them on, they'd be everywhere, right? And then it was like that movie where once I found out and I was like, any town you went to, like once I got into the underworld,
telling what kind of
they're everywhere. Every hotel and every Chattanooga. Like I would go to Florida, right? And I'm like, I'm driving to Chattanooga, and I'm like, open up the back cage, here, and like everywhere. They're everywhere. They're everywhere, everywhere. We're surrounded. I don't know how it is now, but at the time, it was like it was surrounded. So it's like,
I've never.
Like the Ramada,
It's
I
always
did a Sonia
freaked me
D
out.
show with Calvin Evans.
Yes.
But that same
Oh.
Ramada had sex with a prostitute. You know what I mean? Same
Okay.
Ramada. Same Ramada.
But was it like an escort or like a?
Mm-hmm. Do you meet him at the hotel?
Yeah. But it's all like fancy shit. No?
Yeah. I've had 1 or 2 streetwalkers. I had 2 street in L.A. That's some scary
like
shit.
Zombies.
I like the first 2 seasons of Walking Dead, and then
I tried it.
I
couldn't
got
get into that
disinterested.
shit.
I got season and a half. I was like, "Oh, this is fun," and then I was like, all right, "It starts getting like silly."
Yeah.
And it's
They
like,
just
all right.
keep walking and talking. And you're
Like,
just
did you
all
like
right.
Ozarks?
I haven't started it yet.
Okay. I started season 4 and I was like, this is, my girlfriend's like, we got to watch, it's the new Ozark is coming out. She's like, catch up on the first one. You should watch it. I was like, I'm not watching it. I'll watch a recap online and we can catch up. Or, because this is me, it's like, I don't even want to watch a recap. I'll just start from anywhere. I don't care. It's like, literally don't care. So I started and I was like, this sucks. No, but the first 2 and then.
If I really like it, I have to see it from the beginning. But there's not a lot of shit now that I just started rewatching Daredevil.
I watch Seinfeld nonstop.
Oh,
That's it. I don't watch anything new. I just
Yeah.
watch Seinfeld over and over. And then
I've learned every episode.
I started watching
all this other
X-Files recently.
shit. How is that?
I love aliens, the paranormal. Like as a kid, it was like I loved it. I loved all of it. So and now I'm like I have a thing for Scully again after
Did
watching
you ever
it.
see anything like haunted or alien wise ever?
No.
Tried,
man.
Stories in your
About Ouija boards. My mom threw that shit away. I went to Bachelor's Grove. I mean, the haunted whatever cemetery.
Yeah.
Took pictures. And the pictures came out like how they're supposed to, all weird and whatever. But it's just pictures. You know what I mean? Like nothing happened. I went with my niece maybe a year ago too. Or like let's go, and then we got Chick-fil-A. But I was like, hey, you want to go to haunted cemetery?
All them spirits back home.
Nothing, man. And it's like nothing. So it's like.
Have you heard stories of shit like with people like close around you?
But
or
that don't
no?
mean nothing.
Yeah, for sure.
Like people see things, they think they see things, they believe because they want to believe. Like, you know what I mean? Like I heard some kid when I was younger. He's like, "Hey, there's a place in Kansas. It's like supposed to be the 7th opening to hell," and I was like, "I want to go."
Yeah.
But, like I've been to cemeteries in the woods. I haven't. You know what I mean? Like I'll keep. But Jessica, I was like, "Hey, let's." She's like, "Don't bring that up. Don't even talk about it." I was like, "But you don't believe in it." She's like, "Still," you know what I mean? Like I don't want to mess with it. You know what I mean?
That is kind of a weird thing that you don't like. So even some people who don't believe, like, I'll wake up and be like, "Thank God if something happens," but then you also don't know if it like.
Are you
there's
religious?
I'm not really. I'm respectful.
Because yeah, you don't know. Like
Exactly.
Like I've been thinking about death a little bit more, and I'm like, what's gonna
Yeah,
happen?
me too.
Is there an afterlife? Does it go blank, or what's going on? You know. So
I want to be all right enough not to offend someone if they did make me, and if
Yeah.
they don't, then at least I live a good life. You know what I'm
I mean?
saying? But if I'm wrong and there is someone out there, then he gonna look down and be like, he was a good dude at least. He wasn't.
Yeah.
But
But like, so
there's some motherfuckers who be like, he fucking like, you know, they'd be a little more direct with their shit. But I'm more universal spiritual type shit, not religious. Religious. I grew up with a lot of religious, and I was just like, not for
Catholic,
me. Christian.
Puerto Rican Christian.
Dominican.
Who was Dominican and who was Puerto Rican?
My dad's Dominican, my mom's Puerto Rican.
Puerto Rican, right? And then
From Puerto Rico, and then he's straight.
do you
from-
like the Dominican side?
I love it, man. It's a very fun shit talky side. So that's why I like talking to people at the shows, because you get to like talk shit.
Lucky's Dominican, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm like Vince's and Lucky's baby,
Yeah.
because Vince and Lucky have
Vince full Puerto Rican.
full Puerto Rican, Lucky's full Dominican, and
He
then
has a Puerto Rican wife. Lucky.
No, yes,
Yeah, he
yes,
does.
yes. And then but their styles too, because even in comedy, Vince does a lot of crowd work, and
Yeah.
he'll get I can't stand how good his memory is. Like when he's doing crowd work and he talks to somebody, minute 5 and minute 40, if something linked back to the first, I was just like, how the fuck do you remember their names, bro? It's so hard to like. He's spot on with that shit. Lucky's like, I gotta do jokes, I gotta do stories, I gotta do jokes. So I try to like.
Oh yeah, Lucky's full. Now that I think about it, he has his set. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I almost remember like let me think of Leno, like he has the set, and then Vince.
He's
is,
always piecing it together as like in the like from bro. The minute he wakes up that morning, this is gonna go here, this is gonna go here, this is gonna go here. I'm gonna eat this at this time. I'm gonna drink this at this time, and that's his shit. Vince is just like, I'll figure it out, and it works.
But Vince kind of developed into that a little bit more. Was it because
Yeah.
of the ships? Because I remember when I first had Vince like at a show in Waukegan, he had his set.
Yes,
Basically, it was
yeah,
a
he
set.
had, he has a bunch of jokes.
and he has them.
It's just that when you're on the ships and you live with your audience, you kind of have to come fresh a lot of times, because sometimes like the same people will go. I mean, there's a lot of people on these ships, like 3,000 people, but the room only holds like 250, 300. So you'll get new people. You'll get a lot of people who love you and will go every single show. You do 5 shows a week.
And they go to comedy shows. When I started, after the pandemic, right, I started doing comedy again. And then I kind of stopped writing. I stopped writing. I haven't written and whatever. So when I would do it, I was starting getting sick of my material. And then that's when I was like, I didn't want to do stuff. And the only time I had fun is when I did crowd work. Yeah. Because it was fun and something. Because it was like, man,
it just makes you work, man. Sometimes you're just able to just like, there's the easy stuff where you can just, your basic where you're from, what do you do type stuff. But if you start just thinking of different shit to ask people, like it's not that bad. There's someone who's just like, should I get married?
Did you break up any couples in crowd work? Or have seen?
Yeah. They're, no, it is hypothetical, obviously. Again,
allegedly.
They're. Let's say hypothetically, I made a comment to somebody, right? And after said comment, that person and their significant other started fighting, right? So they just bickering in the crowd, and then let's say I just keep going. That person keeps drinking, and shit, the night keeps going. Later that night, I've heard this story that someone was tossed over the boat, overboard.
Did they die?
Yeah, the allegedly the significant other tossed the other significant other.
The chick tossed the dude. The dude tossed the chick.
Gone.
That joke killed.
That was slight conversation. I'm just saying. I'm not saying that happened. I'm just saying that it could have happened.
Now, let's say if it did happen, would you feel good about it? Like I do.
No, I mean, wouldn't.
Yeah, that sucks. I mean, they're probably gonna kill him anyways down the line. It's
very
toxic.
In my view, I'm just like it probably was already bad.
Yeah.
Like I don't think what I said might have set it off.
Somebody's gonna set him off.
That was either the
movie
I'm gonna murder her cruise or the this is the last straw to save our relationship cruise. And I just have a short fucking fuse because to toss somebody off that.
Was he Italian? Allegedly.
No.
Oh, okay.
No, it wasn't no sleeping with the fish and shit either. Just some angry motherfucker. Just those. Yeah. Hypothetically speaking.
So that's why you don't want to be in toxic relationships. You want to fucking pull out.
There's a lot of toxic shit out there, bro.
Charlie Murphy used to give this advice. He said what he would do when a girl would start getting at him. He's like, he would lock himself in a room and then call the cops and be like, I'm in the room. I'm locked in. Like, I'm not even near her. I can't touch her. I'm locked in. He'd like lock himself in the bathroom. So either she leave or to get the cops to come.
I have a bad knack for the toxic ones.
Yeah, right.
I don't know what it is about me that I'm like.
It's great sex.
It's crazy how that works, isn't it?
It's great, dude.
But it's weird how that works because you suffer so much and you're just like, it's so worth it, but it's not. And at the end of the day, you're like, I hate myself, but I fucking love it.
It's so fun, dude. There was this one chick, she was crazy, man. Like, legit. Like, there was a point where I think was the stuff she telling me true or not? Because I remember, like, crazy stories about abuse and suicide, or like being told by her parents that she should have died, not her brother. And she would one time, I remember she called me like 20 times, and there was allegedly some cocaine involved. She liked doing coke. And then, because we were at a bar one time, and she was like, look at that guy. Let me go hit on him. Maybe he can get us some coke. And I was like, and I remember when she said that.
Red flag right there.
I was like, and then she started punching me at one point. She's like, I made a joke. She's like, shut up, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, she's hitting me. I haven't seen her in years. Not like the cute way
where she's like,
Liz, like, this is kind of like this. I haven't seen her in years, and she thinks she could just start hitting me. I was like, this is not.
I have a low tolerance for bullshit too, so it's very hard to.
And I was like,
but I'm also difficult, so I know it's it's
what
mostly
kind of difficult?
Me. I am
standoffish, difficult.
I'm not very empathetic. Like I have empathy, but a lot of times it's not.
It seems like you would upset women because you just very standoffish, and you'd be like, okay, whatever, and then that would drive her crazy. It seems like that you would piss off women that way.
I mean, I have.
They need a reaction.
I don't get. I mean, it just doesn't matter enough to me for certain things. Like if we know that this is not a relationship and we're just having fun, sometimes they get a little bit more possessive, and I'm just like, I don't belong to nobody. Like, relax. But that's why I try to just stay away from all that bullshit. There's a lot of drama, so I prefer to just go on my ships, relax, swim.
So yesterday, girlfriend gets back from work and then she asked me, she's like, "Do you want to break up with me?" And I'm like, "No." And then, but in my head, I was like, she probably wants me to respond and ask her why. But I was tired. I was like, nope, I don't. And then that's fine. You know what I mean? And to me, it's fine. I'm going to bed. No, I don't want to break up with you. That's fine. I'm going to sleep. But then I asked her today because I was like, I bet this is like simmering. I was like, is there a reason you asked me? And she's like, no. And I was like, but because in my head, I was like, she's a woman.
If you don't pry.
You know what I mean? It's like she's gonna get upset if I don't ask, but I'm tired. I don't like. You asked me. To me, it's very simple.
We're very straightforward. Yes.
Giovanni, do you want to break up with me? I do not. Jessica, I do not want to break up with you. Done. Right. And then it's like, I know in her it could potentially lead to. I think. Thankfully, we're both tired. Like, well, then she's like, you don't want to know, but it didn't get to that. Right. I think luckily we're both tired. That she had to nurse the baby and she passed out.
You don't want to have a fight when you're already agitated like that. You know what I'm saying?
Like, yeah, I was tired. I just drove back from Kentucky and I took half an Adderall because I didn't want to. I took half an Adderall, right? Because it's a long drive and I was like, I want to take the drive. I don't want to. I have a small bladder, so if I drink too much, I got to pull over. And I was like, I wanted to make good time.
Gotcha.
But I should have gave her woke her up maybe 7 hours in and traded off. Because at the end, man, I was just like you taking comics, long road trips or whatever.
8 hours was my longest.
Yeah. So then I drove like probably, it was 10:46. And then when I finally switched at the last 30 minutes because I was like, you know what? Because part of me has that male ego. I was like, I can make it. I would have made the trip. But part of me is like, I'm going to kill my family. Because I'm losing it, dude. I'm losing it. I'm seeing things.
I saw some guy fly off the expressway one time. He was tired. And then he just swerved into like some dip. There was some construction. He hit this beam and just flew like Dukes of Hazzard over the highway back to where we were going, and just landed in the woods. and we zoomed past there. We're just like, what the fuck just happened?
If you taking off road trips, like every single time you see something.
Yeah, man.
Because I drove to Florida and I remember I think I've seen deer get shot in the air like multiple times, like twice. Like we were in Florida in the Ocala. I was with my boss because he can't fly because he was like 500-600. He's huge. Yeah. So he would just drive. So I drive with him to Florida for this golf day job. And I remember I saw it shoot. Something hit a deer. I saw the deer shoot in the air, and we just happened to go around as like traffic was building, and we beat it. And then as we beat it, then everything logged, and it was a log jam. It would have been stuck. We just beat the log jam, and then. I remember I went to go do, Oscar, right?
Yeah.
There's a few of us Latinos comedians, so we think we know all.
For the most part,
we know each other, right?
There's a couple of them I haven't run into yet, but yeah.
Let's see. Me, you,
Abby, Joey.
Fucking, the younger ones, fucking stuttering.
Arevalo.
Now there's Ken and stuff, so there's more of us. But I was going to do a show in... somewhere in Wisconsin, northern Wisconsin, maybe near where Appleton, right?
Yeah.
Appleton, Wisconsin, and then actually I remember I got the bartender's
Snapchat. Moxie's or something like that, or some.
Oh, I forgot.
I think I've been there, but yes.
Yeah, Appleton. It was this black dude used to run it, and then I remember I was driving off of work and I was gonna go meet him in Gurnee, and we're gonna take the same car from there. But I'm going 94, and then I'm just looking. I see a deer, just jump over. I was like, oh shit. That could be dangerous. And I see another deer, and then I see on the other side opposing traffic, flies in the air. And then, so I've seen deer.
I haven't seen that shit.
You drive long enough, you see a lot of.
I see a lot of dead shit, but I don't see it like die. I've never seen it die.
No, I've seen him shot in the air.
Jesus.
Twice at least. So yeah, I don't. It makes like, all right. I don't have any DUIs. Right? Did you used to drink and drive at all? Are you a drinker? No, you're a weed guy. No,
not too much. I mean, I used
to. Weed guys aren't really drinkers.
I had bad experiences like blacking out a couple times, so that just made me be like, "That's not my life. This is not my life."
What was your first? Because I've blacked out probably over 20 something times, but it was my life. So it was like yeah.
My two. I think it was like 2 or 3 times where I just heaved because I drank too much and the room started spinning, and I'm not a big throw upper guy. Like I can't. Like if I do it, like I would never like doing it. And there's some times where I just like, well, if I gotta get this shit over with, but I can't.
How many times I've probably thrown up over 60 times, Christine?
Because of liquor?
I think mostly liquor. I mean, I've been sick a few times.
But just like mostly the liquor induced. How many
80% is probably liquor induced. I feel like 40 times.
Dude, I've maybe done it like 4 or 5 times, just because and I'm just like, one time I'm just like, I'm gonna go hard. I got this, and then I'm just like, nope.
Well, now I give myself a window the next day in case for work or anything, because now every 4th or 5th one I get that dry heaving one where I'm dry heaving for hour. I can't get it all out, and
What
the
do you
stomach acid, usually whiskey, Black Label.
Okay.
Sometimes I try to do vodka because it's like if I buy vodka, like when I was, single, like I would try to buy vodka because it's like I have something that me and the girl could drink because most girls don't drink scotch, whiskey.
True.
See what I mean? So, but then I was like, I can't. I went back to it. I did it for a little bit. So I always have my stuff. I have a vodka and some sweet, like an apple Hennessy or a Malibu. So I had my top of my liquor cabinet, aka the top of the refrigerator, had the 3 bottles and the chaser. So that's what I had. That was my setup, my single setup. But it's Black Label. I like drinking Black Label. I drink the same thing. I drink Black Label on the rocks, short glass with a splash of club soda.
Have you always done dark liquor? I've always done light mostly.
I used to
Bacardi.
I started with, it was vodka, like, I don't know if do you have anything you can't drink? I can't look at the Monsters, the diet-free Monster Red Bulls, because I used to chase them with vodka. With Smirnoff, I couldn't drink Smirnoff for a while, because every weekend I'd buy a handle of Smirnoff at Jewel.
Yeah.
And then we'd use it to party for the weekend, and then so I'd be like the Monsters and the handle. Like the lady at Jewel knew me, because it's like handle of Smirnoff, Monsters.
Grey Goose or Belvedere, one of those two. That was a party, and I was young. I was like maybe 19 or 20, going into like a 21-year-old thing, and the Cubs were in the playoffs, and they were trash. And I'm a very emotional. I'm not really an emotional person, but I'll find a reason to drink if I have to. The Cubs were playing so shit. I was like, fuck this shit. So I was pouring cranberry vodkas, and I finished the whole bottle. It was like the whole thing. And then people were just going in and out, grabbing a beer, and I had a couple of beers.
Where were you at?
At my cousin's birthday party.
Mm-hmm.
And then they started giving me shots of Hennessy. And at that point, I didn't know.
Yeah, you don't mix.
I didn't know that.
You don't mix the races.
And
the liquor races.
Yeah, and that shit fucked me up, man. It was the worst night of my life.
You ever done cocaine?
I'm too scared.
Did your uncles? Did your family? I didn't realize people were doing drugs until I was older. And it's like, oh, these motherfuckers are on coke.
Yeah, and I started realizing. Well, I was told shit recently about like shit that I grew up, and I was just like, really, I should have probably put that shit together. But not a lot of drugs, mostly like abuse. Like,
when's the first time you got high? Marijuana high.
High school. Nah, a little bit after high school, because when I tried in high school, I didn't know how to inhale, so I was just like, I don't feel nothing. And then once I inhaled for the first time, it was like maybe around, like for graduation, maybe like right after high school, I was fucked up.
The first time we tried, I don't know if Puerto Ricans, Dominicans do that. My mom would take a bunch of weed plants and put them in alcohol, and it'd be like a rub. You make a rub for your joints.
No, my dad was too religious for any type of marijuana.
And that was like a Mexican thing. Like grandma's always had it, whatever. So we had that. And me and my buddy, we took all the weed out and dried it out.
That's hilarious.
And then tried to smoke it. At some what are those resorts you go to where they talk to you for an hour and try to timeshare, right?
Yes.
It was like a timeshare. I think his mom went to, so we went.
That you should be here.
Yeah. We made a pipe out of aluminum foil. And we took the thing at the resort from the bottom of the faucet to put it on top as a filter. And then we smoked all this weed that's been sitting in alcohol for I don't know how long that we tried out. So obviously there's no potency or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh man, I was so like disappointed. But I remember like I was 16 and I remember I was at I was a caddy. I'm still a caddy. I was caddying this morning on the weekends, but I was a young caddy. And it's funny because caddying is weird because you have 13-year-old and 40-year-old Mexican dudes that are white alcoholics. Like, they're working together, you know what I mean? It's 13, 15-year-olds and then alcoholic drug addict men. Like, that's how the first time I had sex with a prostitute, some older Mexican caddy was like, there's a whorehouse. And I was like, what do you mean? They gave me the directions or whatever. And I'm like, young, you know what I mean? Early 20s, maybe something. And then I was like, really? And so I drive where they tell me, and I was like, there's nothing here. And then I find it. And I remember for a summer, I would caddy and then go straight to this whorehouse.
We just went to Venezuela, to Colombia, right? There was a port that we went to, and then this driver was just like, yeah, I'll take you to get something to eat. I was like, cool. And then he kept saying, I was with another comic, and he was just like, well, I'll take you where the ladies are. And I was just like, and I have a problem when, like, what you want to do. Like, I don't want to be the no guy.
Oh, okay.
And the guy was just like, take us to where the senorita's at. And then he took us to a whorehouse. And I was just like, oh.
You in the comics?
me and just one other comic. What was funny is that when we got there, it was a whole bunch of people, like a whole bunch of the guys who were crew members were there. And I was just like, "You nasty! I seen you in the kitchen. I see you in the kitchen." But it's I freak out too much. I can't do that. It's just it.
I'll tell you this: the first time I did it, like after when I was done, I felt dirty. It felt weird. I was like, I can't believe I just did this. And then
I just feel, like
the
I
second
feel
time,
cheap.
dude, it was like next. It was like it changed like that, dude. I always say never do it because once you cross that line, you don't go back.
Yeah, and I don't have the money for it either, so I'm not gonna.
You can't go back.
I'm already paying for it.
You can't. You're not gonna trade jokes with a prostitute or anything like that. So you can't. Yeah, you can't go back. So my advice is like, don't do it. Find a way because it's like you can't. Once you cross that line, it's like those dudes that are into stuff sexually, but they gotta maybe kill somebody.
Do you
on
do
the
the
TV
OnlyFans
shows.
stuff?
I did it in July of 20-something, and I remember I was looking at my credit card bill. I was like, I just spent like $120, and I was like, man. I remember I would print out my credit card bill and I would highlight stuff out, and then I remember I was looking at it.
You're so mature. I can't look at my bank account because I don't want it to ruin my day.
Hold on a second, Hillary's. Okay, I just messaged her. Okay, financing. I meant finishing. I looked at the bank account and I was like, OnlyFans, and I was like, okay, I'm done, dude.
Yeah.
So it was no more OnlyFans, but I did it for, and there was some comics, because it was a comic, and I was like, she's at OnlyFans, and I was like, let me just see, and I was like, here's another comic, OnlyFans, because remember COVID?
Yeah, for a while,
everybody just started doing OnlyFans and playing fucking bass on Facebook Live. People were losing it. It was funny. I was like, these are my friends.
Learning different skills, man. You gotta do what you gotta do to fucking, to get that loot. Rent doesn't stop.
No,
I actually I wouldn't call it a low point, maybe the lowest point, but I had got laid off, and I was
what was
my
day
brain
job?
Best Buy.
Okay,
so I had just got laid off, and then I'm a very immature person, so they gave me a severance package, and then I got unemployment, and in my head I just got unemployment until I get another employment. I didn't know that shit ran out. So once my severance ran out and I was fucking that money off, and then unemployment like cut me like half a check, and I was just like, it was good, and she was just like, you have no more money coming into you with the account, and I was like, oh, that's how that shit happens, bro. My brain went into like, I'm gonna be homeless, I'm gonna do this. Like I went into Google and I was just like, how can you become a porn star? How can I make money? That was my first thing. I was just like, let's find.
Did you make an OnlyFans?
No, I don't. I wouldn't.
But you never want to have kids, right? Though, right?
No,
you got to find not a host. You find a chick
what
to
I
do
do
it with.
Just to just do it on there.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's a lot of.
Because you don't have kids, right?
No, but
so
I still don't want.
OnlyFans. To me, it's like the kid thing. That's why I wouldn't want to do it.
There's a lot more of. There's
that's
more.
It.
No, I just wouldn't. It's just for me. That's my shit. Keep it.
I don't like wearing shirts. I'm half naked half the time, anyways.
Can you? This has always come up. After sex, I have to put on at least the drawers. I can't just be butt naked. Can you be like butt ass naked?
I don't like this because different people use the couch, so I want my butt covered. Right. So actually, we had sex yesterday, and
like
I was
a towel or something.
And I was done, and I was like, I didn't want to sit assless of sweat on the couch.
That's true.
So I was like, they should make underwear where the front is just open. It's just the back. I was thinking about like reverse assless chaps. So I can go at it again, but I can sit on the couch and not get sweat on the couch. You know what I mean? So it was like...
Can't you just flip over the assless chaps?
No, there is no assless chaps. I was wearing regular boxers. So I have to... Because I like being fully naked.
Have you ever done it through the hole?
I only pee through the hole. No, I need skin to skin. I like being as nude as possible. I only like socks on, you know what I mean? I try it. Sometimes I pull the underwear down, but it's like, all right, this needs to come off.
Socks depends on the grip, because if it's carpet, my socks slip. No, if it's hardwood, my socks slip, so I need grip on the floor.
Oh, you're gonna slip with socks, yeah. I like being fully as naked as possible.
Yes, but after I just have to have at least drawers on.
If there's a nudist, because your balls, like this is what I was thinking about, nudist colonies. They should do nudist colonies, but just with boxers. Just with boxers, because I like
that would be more comfortable.
Because then you have support, you can sit. You know what I mean? It's like what I don't know, why is everything gonna be loose? Maybe for a woman, because you don't have stuff hanging.
My fourth or fifth trip on a ship was a fucking naked colony.
A nudist
ship. They were all butt naked.
All right, we need to wrap this up. Do you have any last words? Any plugs? Any?
I'm headlining CG's the 16th and 17th of September.
Right? A few days after September 11th. Never forget.
Thank you for. Yeah, I'm just bouncing in and out of ships. I just did the Laugh Factory the other day.
Who's hosting and featuring? Do you know?
I have no idea yet. I usually try to ask him, but he never knows until like last minute. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm trying to do 2 different 45 minutes. See how it happens.
CGs and then social media.
Manny Acosta Comedy on Instagram. I just changed it, and then Manny Acosta 05 on everything else.
On 05 everything else. Okay. Lobo. So follow the Lobo podcast on Instagram. I had a lot of caffeine now. I don't know if you see him. Woke up a little bit. Instagram, follow the Patreon. And if Luca Farah is featuring for you, tell him to fucking let me release this episode. He doesn't want to release it because I think he wants to be a flight attendant. I don't know. But if
Luca
you see
Farah?
him, yeah.
The Italian guy?
Yeah.
He was. I think he just opened up for Vince Carone this weekend.
Yes, he did. And I have his episode. He won't let me release it.
Why not?
He's like, I'm scared. I'm trying to get a job. Shut up. And not you, Luca. So follow the Patreon, $3 a month. So if you want to see the Luca episode, it's on there because he's scared that we talked about Clint Eastwood or something.
Okay.
I don't fucking know. So follow the Patreon, Lobo down, Lincoln Lodge. And we record Lincoln Lodge, Rickerstein.
Yes.
And then I want more caffeine. Okay, Lobo down.
Lobo them, Lobo them, Lobo them. 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 It's the Lobo them. Lobo them. Lobo them. Lobo them. It's the Lobo them. Lobo them. Lobo them. Lobo them. It's the Lobo